Hello, I want to weigh in on the would you rather be alone in the woods with a man or a bear question and talk about an article recently written by Waleed Ali. So, Waleed wrote an article titled Holding All Men Responsible for a Violent Minority Has Failed to Keep Women Safe. In short, he's pretty much like, it doesn't work if you say good men are responsible for setting the bad men straight and whatever. It's not effective. That's what he says. He says ultimately these things just end up making men defensive, which, like, I guess it does, but that's not the point of that conversation, is it, Wally? The problem is, it's the men doing these things, and it's the men who should be held responsible for them. It's pretty simple, and it's not that hard to get, and you don't need to write a big old article about that. But I do want to talk about something else. Barack Obama said in 2014 that you can judge a nation on how successful it will be based on how it treats its women and its girls. Good quote. It's from somewhere else, and it comes from a quote that's often misattributed to this guy, Dostoevsky, where he says, or he didn't actually say, but it's attributed to him saying, the degree of civilization in this society can be judged by entering its prisons. But also, that's not really where the original quote comes from. It comes from this guy, Carlos. Karl Marx wrote in a letter to Kugelman in 1868, social progress can be measured exactly by the social position of the fair sex, the ugly ones included. Now, obviously, Barack Obama's quote is a little bit better because he doesn't imply that ugly women aren't actually women. But if we look into that quote a little bit and look into recent media and how media is treating women with this kind of situation, with this like epidemic that we're experiencing, with things like how the media is treating Brittany Higgins and kind of going after her, and just generally treating women like shit. We can tell that it's not women who are the problem here, it is society as a whole, men included and men especially. However, we keep putting the responsibility of solving these issues on women and not society and men in general. We have quite a few examples of what happens if this is allowed to continue throughout history. And for example, let's take the Russian Revolution, one of my favourite revolutions, the one which led to the overthrow of the Tsar. This revolution was started by women, and in many similar revolutions to this one, it was the women who started it and then started shaming the men into being involved and, joining the protests and joining the revolution. Not the men, not the people kind of responsible for it, not the ruling class. These people were all like, you know what, it's not our problem to solve. It's not, we don't have to do anything because we're the good guys here and it's your problem. Like, you solve it. So they did. Waleed's article kind of has a lot of echoes to that ruling class discord during that time, where it's like, well, not all of us are the problem and whatever. You can't blame the good men for the bad men doing the bad things, and it's not our fault. So find someone else to blame, kind of thing. Anyways, what I'm trying to say with all of this is, it's all of society's problem to fix, particularly men. However, if we don't fix it as a society, women will, and you probably won't like what that looks like.